Hello, hello, welcome. Happy Sunday. Hey, Nicole, how are you? Welcome in. Interesting. Hey, oh, thank you. A little pop of color. Welcome. Oh, good. Hello, hello. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Hey, Savannah. Hey, Debbie. Welcome. Trying to get back in the saddle here. Hey, Robert. It's crazy. It's summer camp eve. Jeffrey's kids start camp tomorrow. Big Jeffrey's kids start counseling camp tomorrow. So there's like all the things, lunches to pack, bags, sunblock, all the stuff, and it's going to thunderstorm. So, hey, getting it all done. How's everybody doing? Hey, Kat. Hey, Deidre, welcome. Hey, Jen. Hey, guys. Good to see you all. Happy to be back. I'm going to bring in a little rainbow ray because I'm just feeling into like, what do we need? All the colors of the rainbow. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's for upgrade and expansion. Yes, Nicole, I hope the weather's gotten better for you and your unseasonable all day long storms. Ain't nobody got time for that in Florida. Hey, Chloe. Watching the card pull. Yeah, if you got to catch it, I did pull these cards ahead. I posted a little video on the live event. Oh, Dolly went to sleep early. We're not going to complain about that though, Mama. That's okay. Oh yeah, so now the thunderstorm subsided and now it's hot, 90 plus. Yeah, it's very humid here. It was in the mid to upper 80s, then we had a thunderstorm. It's a little cooler now, but tomorrow again, 88, I think it said, it's just heavy and humid here. So yeah, all the things. So we're here, we have our cards. I actually haven't had a chance to look at anything yet. So I wanted to feel into this bonus message that I brought in to go with. Oh, thank you, Chloe. Yeah, I was just doing a little, matchy. Doesn't match on the bottom though. I have shorts on, but they don't match. So I decided to put the Papa color in there. Like you seriously should see what I look like about 15 minutes before I come on here. My family's like, okay. But I am loving all these bright colors and feeling that, needing to bring that in, I think, just to lift all the energies. There's so much going on. Famous quote. I do have pants on. Yeah, there's been a lot going on. There's still a lot going on. There's going to be more going on. So, wherever you are, that's kind of why I'm bringing in, first of all, the Rainbow Ray expansion and upgrade, because that's really what's happening is there are upgrades available that are coming in, which help us to raise our frequency on the planet. And when that happens, all the heavier, more dense stuff that can't come with starts coming up to the surface and bubbling up to the surface to be seen, to be felt, to be dealt, to move out. So in many cases, people are feeling that on either an individual or collective level. And then we've got all of this other stuff going on in the sky with these retrogrades. I mentioned in the card pull that Venus is in her pre-shadow because she will be going retrograde in July. However, before that, Neptune, which I talked about a little bit. If you did catch the weekend card pull I did over on the June Sharecast on Marco Polo, I pulled some cards just for our weekend, and I mentioned Neptune retrograde, which is happening on June 30th. And Neptune, of course, is the ruler of all of that watery, sometimes illusory, deceptive even, rules the spiritual, the intuitive. So there's like this fogginess right now. There's this density where there's some inclarity on things. And in some cases, and we're going to see that this week, choices and crossroads and choice points that we're at where it's difficult maybe to get a hold on the decision or the choice. I talked about that with the weekend card pull because that 7 of Cups that capped off our Friday last week kept on coming up, not just for us collectively, a lot of the individual sessions, and in speaking to some of you, hearing about how the 7 of Cups was coming up for you with movement, choices, decisions, but things being foggy or unclear. So I feel like that's that Neptunian energy that we have coming in amongst other things, Cancer season, all of it. So I will expand on that tomorrow when I do the recap for our cards tonight, but we'll get started here. You know, I pulled these ahead of time so that we could dive right in. This is our last week with this awesome deck, the Everyday Enchantment Tarot by Poppy Palin. And I brought in as well Whispers of the Ocean. This gorgeous card that I'm like flashing around and not showing you guys closely was our bonus message for today. And it's kicking things off on a high note, on a bright note. And yes, if you would like a card pull, please go ahead and say so in the comments. After we move through these, we'll get into that. Also, I want to say, as we're gathering, we're gearing up for a new month. So July, I've been sharing the Empowerment Pack. Bookings are open. So if you're interested in joining me for the month of July, that is a special package. It's one of my favorite offerings, one of the most popular offerings where we get to work together throughout the month with a month ahead reading for you, your personal energies for the month ahead, along with guidance over the full moon and the new moon, and unlimited one-card pulls whenever you'd like, and all the things. So that's an awesome way for us to connect. I also have a special 3-card plus reading. It's never just 3 cards. Hello Empowerment, which is 1 reading, but you can have that for your month ahead energy, or for a past, present, future, or for what to know, to do, to be, or any 3-card intentions. So there are a lot of ways we can work together in July, and I'm trying to get kind of a sense of what's on tap for that, just with this crazy busy summer and with everybody moving around. It gives me a little bit of a head start to get ready for our July month ahead energies, which I'll be tuning into this week. So if you're interested, please reach out, and I will pop the link here too, to those different options that are available for us to work together in July. So, oh, thank you, Chloe. Thank you. I know. I gotta get a hold of it. Maybe you guys could give me some pointers there, you know? Appreciate you. So, let's see. Speaking of that, what do we have here? Surrounded by Prosperity. So this beautiful card, Surrounded by Prosperity, is sort of overlighting our energy this week. I know, Chloe, right? Like, I know, you're like, should I say that or not? But it has been coming up for me again and again for me to deal with my stuff that's coming up to the surface. So thank you. So Surrounded by Prosperity says, your attention is being drawn to the infinite nature of reality, that which exists. I'm not going to make it. I got to start right out the gate. That which exists outside the known is beyond measure. Wow. Okay. So as I talk about Neptune and things being outside, it rules over reality, spirituality. And as I shared on the Sharecast over the weekend, may have a lot of us looking at questioning what we believe, what is true, our spiritual and other belief systems and things all coming up and being spotlighted in the Neptune energy. And so this is talking about reality and understanding, our attention being drawn beyond the infinite nature of reality. And so Surrounded by Prosperity, look how beautiful. I mean, just gorgeous. The sea turtle, these fish, and this beautiful aspect of Surrounded by Prosperity. I don't know why this doesn't want to sit right in here. There. So I'm going to take a peek at that and just see what the message is. There's always beautiful messages in here. And you know what I just realized, and I just want to take a moment, is that I know I shared at the beginning of the month about Poppy Palin. and that she had passed on last year. And so I had just wanted to sort of acknowledge that as we enjoyed working with her deck all month. Angela Hartfield, also a beautiful soul, very talented, who also passed away much too soon. I just realized that because I always love using her decks as well. And so interesting that I just chose to bring in these two decks tonight for two beautiful, creative souls that made such an impact in the world with their beautiful art and messages. So I just thought of that and thought I better mention that here as we delve into all of the beautiful signs and symbols that they have here for us to enjoy. So here in the Whispers of the Ocean, the message is talking about this school of fish pictured representing abundance, sanctuary, desire, control, steadiness, and even a possible windfall. You may find that you want to take care of others by offering advice, guidance, and wisdom, as well as loaning your money or giving your time to a worthwhile cause now. Your abundant flow is at its peak, and you find hidden treasures around every corner and in a wide variety of situations. You might be drawn to the vibrant yellow of the tang. This is an opportunity to tune into your solar plexus and your personal power. Are you giving up or, alternatively, too keyed up about a situation? This is the time to bring yourself back to feeling empowered and in control of your emotions. The lively green colors emphasize growth and healing and a return to your natural state of abundance. If you are feeling lack, use positive affirmations to create your own abundance. I have everything I need at all times. Hey, Chastity, welcome in. And so this is about the yellow tang. That's the fish that we see here on this gorgeous card. And the yellow tang are serene ocean dwellers, and they're an essential part of the reef ecosystem. Large schools of yellow tangs can be found on the ocean's reefs. The yellow tang is attracted to areas of coral where they clear away excess algae. They help maintain balance in the ecosystem. Algae can turn up in all sorts of places, and you may even see yellow tangs cleaning it off a turtle. Abundance can show up in a variety of ways. Trust that you are abundant. Clear away anything that may hinder your bounty. Yes, we are doing card pulls. If you would like one, feel free to say so, and we will get to that. We're just diving into our cards for the week ahead, and this was sort of an overlighting message for us. And so we have this keyword of abundance. So even as we move through some of the more challenging aspects and some of these energies that we've been touching on, hi, Aletha, welcome. There is abundance in all things, even if it's covered in algae. Right? So we're kind of getting that energy, and of course, perfect as we have just come through and are on the other side of solstice, being brought into our solar plexus as well. So I love that. It's kind of kicking us off. So let's go ahead and start diving into these cards and see what is coming up for us for this week ahead collectively. So the first card that came up is this gorgeous Ace of Wands. And what I thought was really cool about this is another aspect of Neptune going retrograde on the 30th is that it can cause some creative blocks. That there was a reference to the possibility that there's some blocks or slowing down or sort of a pause when it comes to creativity. And yet it's actually sort of resetting things so that on the other side, there's a burst of creativity. There's an opportunity, new opportunity for creativity, which is literally what this Ace of Wands is. It's a clean canvas. It's a new, fresh start to paint something new, to create something new. And you see that, oh, that's not thunder. It's my garage. I was like, wait a minute. I don't know if you guys heard that. Like, that was loud. And so I thought it was really cool that this is sort of setting the tone for our week because, you know, kind of going into it eyes wide open, that there's a lot of things going on right now that can create some fogginess, some murkiness, some slow moving. Sometimes I say I feel like I'm walking through Jell-O when it's like, you know, that feeling of like one step forward, two steps back. So I love that there is a lot of animal spirit here. What do you guys spot? I definitely see, is that an owl, the horse? I see the pheasant, which I always say reminds me of opportunity. So I feel like there's some real beautiful energies coming in here in multiple places, despite some of the crunchier stuff. This is one of them. This is one of them, with this abundance and prosperity, opportunity, and even as we move on through the week. The owl definitely stands out. Yeah, it's coming in with wisdom, higher perspective, and being able to see the big picture, right? And you're right, everything is obtainable. Imagination has no limits. And if you believe it, you can be it. You can create it. It starts with you. And, you know, one of the other key things is, and it's funny because the words that I had channeled for this month was called Beyond Expectations. And it talked about the way that sometimes our expectations can be limiting. Sometimes our expectations set us up for disappointment. And yet another phrase I like to say is expectation equals magnetization. You know, what we expect is what we magnetize in. So if we are focusing our energy on something, no matter what it is, that is what we're sending out, that signal to the universe that we in turn are magnetizing in. And also having this repeated confirmation that when we believe something, when we focus on something, sure enough, the universe reacts in kind and will show us evidence of that, whatever it is and whatever frequency it holds. And that is where we can find, wherein lies our power to decide what we're going to tune into. And here, what we're going to create, how we're going to use our creative energy, manifesting our own destinies. Correct. Yes, I love it. Thank you, Rob. It's like whatever we are sending out that signal, I say sending out the bat signal to call in what? And so whatever we focus on is what we are calling in. So we have this clean slate, new beginning opportunity, yet as we not quite, like we're still sort of, because of the retrogrades that are going on. So we have Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, we're going to have Neptune retrograde, and then Venus retrograde. So there's retrograde simply means that the planets appear to be moving backwards, and they go back over whichever sign they are in. So then they are sort of steeped in the energies of those signs. And so that is what pulls forward the different themes that they can touch on. And that backwards motion slows us down, brings us back over things. So that's where we can see things bubbling up to the surface, you know, things from the past. And each retrograde is also connected in with a particular time period. So I know with Neptune, it could be highlighting things from December of 2022. So themes and things that were present or challenging or just happening around you at that time can once again sort of be coming around again. So as we move through all of that, we're coming at it from this higher perspective with the wisdom that we have now, deciding what we wish to create, what we want to manifest, and how is this thing coming up for me to empower me, to fuel me, to create something from it. You know, there's that type of energy available to us. So like I said, I'll touch on those retrogrades as well a little more this week. So now, as we kind of look at this beautiful, bright, new energy, the Potential Blocker Challenge is one of the more expressive Knight of Blades I have seen before. So, the kids are talking all around you and you keep staring at my earrings. Let me keep them highly visible for you. Want, want, want. The kids are screaming. My earrings are beaming at you. Here you go. This is it. So look at this Knight of Blades, okay? It's so interesting. So this is like the Knight of Swords, right? And the Knight of Swords, traditionally, there's this swift movement. There can be this like cutting through, this action. If there was like an action hero energy, since I mentioned, thank you, Aletha, since I mentioned Batman and sending out the bat signal, the Knight of Swords is usually that one. It's young and sort of, you know, eager and impulsive at times, or just, you know, ready to move. But this version brings in a little bit of a different energy. And so we go with that to see what that might be telling us about potential blocks or challenges. And I know that the story in here, Poppy was brilliant with these different stories and the symbols that she brought through. This one's called Snip and Snipe. And she's saying that, sort of sticking here with this salon, sort of gossipy, sort of, snippy type energy that we're seeing here. Not that that's always the case, but, that's what's sort of being depicted here. There's a story about this hairdresser. There's a story about, sort of what's going on here with their banter going on, and sort of being very critical and harsh and running their mouth. So I feel like what could be a potential block or challenge this week, and one of the big things that's coming up are relationships. Relationships are being highlighted, especially because of Venus getting ready to go retrograde. I shared some things again over in the Sharecast earlier today with a little self-care message about ways we can work with the Venus energy. But knowing that relationships and communication and those dynamics might be getting highlighted throughout this retrograde. And one of the things that has been coming up with a lot of people around me and myself is recognizing that some of the encounters that we have with others and relationships around us, and this can be like close relationships, but also just people that we're dealing with, dynamics, that there seems to be old stuff, right? Old things. Like I said, as the frequency raises, as we have an opportunity to shed those old layers, there's old dormant layers of old programming, conditioning, beliefs, and relationship dynamics that are kind of stuffed down there that somebody new or somebody different than perhaps the original dynamic is bringing up, there's echoes of the past coming up through relationships with other people that are actually like pinging on that same frequency of energy from things, could be from childhood, could be from years ago, things that are coming up to be cleared. And so this is talking about this personality here being a motor-mouthed Knight of Blades who may think that he's telling us something in our best interest, but he could end up sounding rude or cruel. This isn't his intention. He just tells it as he sees it, which is how he thinks it is. This sharp-tongued, outspoken knight can be opinionated to the point of officiousness. Like I said, Poppy used some big words. She stumps me on. So I have a good vocabulary, but some of them stump me. And candid to the point of insensitivity. In fact, he's so to the point and presses it home so far that it hurts. He has a knife-like wit and a need to know and tell us everything, informing us and cutting us with a lethal barb in the same conversation. To him, words are to be parried and thoughts exchanged with lightning rapidity. When it comes to brains, he pompously believes he's a cut above and so entitled to give us the benefit of his erudition. Oh, she's getting me on this one. In fact, it's his duty to do so. He doesn't realize that diplomacy and tact are valuable assets, as well as directness and honesty. He believes there's no time to waste on platitudes, and he doesn't know how to lie, at least not convincingly. In this, and in his obsessive interests that he'll divulge whether we share them or not, he displays traits of Asperger's syndrome, and his communication can be a monologue, not a dialogue. At disciplined best, this avid truth seeker and innovative thinker offers stimulating conversation, presenting convincing, well-reasoned arguments without resorting to confrontation. But if he hasn't yet honed his blade-like communication skills, he'll rant and ramble, becoming obscure, fanatical, bombastic, doctrinaire, or so analytical that only facts matter, not feelings. Do we argue for argument's sake, or say our piece rather than keeping the peace? Perhaps if there's nothing kind to say, it may be best to hold our tongue, wielding our own blade with great care rather than cold procession. So she's really taking the point of the shadow side of the Knight of Blades, which does basically lacking a filter. That's what all that said, is this lacking a filter, being super direct, but to that point of that double-edged sword being harsh. So I think that all just sort of encapsulates challenges communicating with someone because of very strong personality aspects of all kinds, right? And so potential for challenges in communication with others, or even just understanding where someone's coming from. And again, this doesn't even, like, this can be personal, it could be in our work relationships, or just like people that we encounter at the store, or that we interact with on some level, or a doctor with poor bedside manner even, like these kind of things where you're like, shaking your head maybe at the way that somebody communicates or how they're speaking, that normally maybe our go-to is like take it personally, or be like, well, who peed in your cornflakes today? Like what? Like, whatever. But it's like, I feel like there's these things that are coming up that, whether it's like, for example, if you are someone who has a tendency to people please, or maybe, at the detriment of your own happiness, comfort, balance, whatever it is, accommodating to others, or if you've ever been there before and you're familiar, but the energy of somebody coming up and like putting upon you in a way that you're like, how dare they like expect me to do this or that, or in some way we feel like we don't appreciate the fact that we're being put in a situation where we're being pressed to assert our boundaries, right? Yes, Robert, you and I are in a lot of the same clubs together. We run in some of the same circles. And that's just one example, right? But it's to say that, can we see how that person, that situation is actually giving us exactly what we need in order to practice this skill that we're being invited to hone, to sharpen, right? So if we have difficulty speaking our truth, or standing our ground, or, telling it like it is sometimes, being direct, then we're going to encounter people who provoke that in us. And that's going to be annoying, and it's going to be disruptive, and it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's actually ends up being just what is needed. It's actually prosperity and abundance with algae all over it, right? It's actually the way that things come up as a gift happening for us, even when it doesn't look or feel or sound like that at all. Now, that's just one example, and certainly there's a million different ways that it can show up, but the potential block or challenge could be coming up against that type of harsh, knee-jerk, sort of, again, it's sort of like impulsive or thoughtless, like just not being considerate, and or being challenged for us to embody maybe a little more boundaries, a little more directness, a little more of the strengths of the Knight of Blades, of being able to just cut right to it and say so, or do so, or take some sort of action. So, we'll see how that comes up, but I feel like there's definitely some personalities though. And you see this, it's like irritating, and it's kind of like, how dare you, or something like that. Right. Okay. Thank you, Chloe. So if you have no problem saying how it is, how would we associate to that? So how do you feel if you have no problem saying, and again, you'll have to I'm going to channel that energy right now. So if you're someone who has no problem telling it like it is, but you come up against people who maybe misinterpret what, Robert, now who told you to keep your mouth shut? Who said that? That's not true. That is not what I said. How does it feel to be sometimes misunderstood when you're just directly communicating something and being direct with someone who you're constantly having to redirect from playing the passive aggressive game, right? And from maybe feeling misinterpreted or misunderstood simply for stating your truth. Right? Because I can imagine how frustrating that is. But I also know for someone who's practicing like little baby steps of being assertive, yes, thank you, Jen, perfect word. If we're practicing our assertion, if we're practicing telling it like it is when it's like a little bit out of our wheelhouse or comfort zone, the people around us can initially be sort of put upon that we're actually saying something or asserting a boundary, and it's out of character or not what they come to expect. Either way, there's this misunderstanding. It's just being on different frequencies and not quite being able to feel into empathizing or understanding that it actually has nothing to do with you. Like, we're all so quick to take everything personally, or sometimes assume. Now, and maybe some of us do that more than others, so I don't want to speak for everybody, but that is a great word, assertive. I love that, because no matter what, you could be assertive by asserting kindness and empathy, or something that's actually very compassionate, but you're asserting yourself in that way so that I'm not going to meet that frequency down here. You know, no matter how you other person behave or what the situation is. So true about walking on eggshells as well, in not feeling free to be your most authentic self, or for being wrongly judged or misunderstood. And that's the thing too, like, you know, maybe some of the things that I just described here, there wasn't actually anything wrong. Some of you might have been like, I do that, you know, like, what's wrong with that, you know? And so that's interesting, because there's something for us to learn. There's strengths in both that we can actually, and if it's in a safe place here, and like you say, trying to help Rob to be more assertive, that we can practice that. You know, it's funny. Okay, random, so random. I watched The Birdcage over the weekend, which I absolutely love that movie. And I'm thinking of Robin Williams and Nathan Lane practicing trying to be macho, okay? And how they think, what they think it sounds like to be macho, or to walk macho, or to make like small guy talk, okay? And that's what it looks like when Rob and I and Deidre try to be assertive. I think I have to act like John Wayne in order to be tough. It's just cracking me up, because it's like, God, I hope you've seen the movie. Thank you, Rob. See, I know we're in the same club, but if you've ever seen it, it's funny because it actually speaks to the assumptions we make, the things that we just typecast about what it is to be assertive. What does it mean to speak your truth and tell it like it is? Because the swords is the toughest suit for me to align with, because it's harsh and it's actually showing me exactly what I need. I need more of that, but I tend to go, oh, she's a queen of swords. Oh yeah, they're a total queen of swords. And like, that's like code for being like, well, she's a bitch, like, you know, but it's like, but she tells it like it is. And she's a good businesswoman, and she's direct, and she doesn't get emotional about things. And those are all really good points, right? So, you lower your voice and put your foot down with your tough talk. Yeah. Really trying to put your serious voice on. So I think that's actually really cool. I love that we have this blend of people who have different ways of doing things. He's using his tough voice. Chloe, your friends remind you to practice sounding nice when you have to share feelings. Let me see if I can... Okay. Or what if somebody has resting bee face, right? You know, and that's unfair too, because I think they get sort of unfairly, you know, typecast, when that might not be the case. She might be smiling inside. He could be telling a joke right now and she looks like that, you know, like, so I'm being funny about it, but it's like the idea of like, there's our relationships and our interactions with other people are coming up to actually help us to do this healing, to do this upgrade and expansion that we are being invited into right now, of leveling up. You're gruff. Ooh, that's a word I haven't heard in a while. Yeah, but see, I understand that you didn't arrive that way for not having had the experiences that seasoned you, and got you to where you are now. And so there's so much to learn from that, you know, and just having these conversations. And it's actually like the flip side of the coin for somebody who's more sensitive or more easily maybe hurt by something that's harsh, to flip that coin and judge someone for being too gruff or hard or assertive. Right? Because it's actually doing the same thing in turn unintentionally, and not necessarily thinking about how it might be and feel to walk in that person's shoes and what it's like for them, because that's their natural communication style. And so it's uncomfortable for them to be anything but who they are. And so it's so interesting. I could just go on about this because this is such an important topic about people being authentic and people being really true to themselves and speaking their truth. And I think that it's such an important thing that more and more we're learning is such a necessary part of us really coming into being empowered, right? So very interesting stuff for sure. Yeah, none of us are everyone's cup of tea. And that's one of the biggest, if someone is a people pleaser or has had a history of people pleasing, that's one of the first hurdles, is recognizing and not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. Not everyone's going to understand you. You are going to play the villain in someone's story, all of those things. So you love tea, all kinds of tea, all the tea. So those are all, good points about realizing that these are just, and again, even some of these things might sound like duh to people who've mastered those lessons. But I think that it has so much to do with some of the communication barriers and challenges that we have in life, and I mean, that extends everywhere. So obviously it starts in our personal lives, but then you go out onto social media and the world of keyboard warriors and all the things that are out there, and the lack of meaningful communication and things that there's an opportunity there too. So lots of things coming up there. And I think it folds into nicely the midweek blessing, because the midweek blessing is the Hierophant, and that is the teacher energy, the spiritual guru. And it really does have to do with coexistence and tolerance and acceptance and understanding that everyone is in a different place. And they're not everyone's cup of tea, right? Except everybody's Rob's cup of tea. Yeah. So whatever's clever for Rob, the tea drinker of tea. But we see here that this version of the Hierophant is embodying the teacher, the guru, the person who's sort of leading with some sorts of wisdom or knowingness. And then here's all of the students. And so this is a card as a midweek blessing that invites us into higher learning. And we're doing so in this classroom called life, in this earth school. And so it's really highlighting, I'm feeling, and this is like a big message, but it's a big time, there's a lot going on. Again, understanding this dynamic of all the players, all the characters, all the walk-ons, all of the classmates, all of the people who are sitting here with us, and they're all coming from different belief systems and walks of life and ways of being. There's so much diversity there being represented. That there's this opportunity for tolerance, acceptance, for coexistence, for having curiosity. And that's another good thing about the night. The nights are all very curious, very adventurous, definitely looking for, and they're messengers as well. So it's a challenge. It has algae on it, but it's coming in to teach us something. So these difficult dynamics that you're in right now, whatever they are, whoever they're with, there is great teaching in them. And it's an amazing opportunity to really level up. However, everybody has free will, right? Take it into the classroom, all the different personalities in the room. Somebody's actually doing the work, somebody's cheating, somebody's skating by, all the different personalities. Free will is going to come in, and they get to decide whether they're going to take advantage of the lessons, the growth, and the healing that are available between you at this time. And you responsible for you. Yeah, so you've tried to explain it to Chase. You don't have to sympathize, but you have to show empathy toward them, whoever, right? And understanding. And I know that that's a delicate balance, because, especially with kids, because let's say in the case of bullying or things that happen at school where you're thinking the way that kid is behaving, you can only imagine what it might be like for them at home, or what their experiences have been for them to arrive at a place where they think it's acceptable to behave the way that they're behaving. But it is a challenge as a mama bear or a papa bear to extend that empathy too far beyond when it's your kid who's being bullied or put upon. And it's just this whole little microcosm of the big picture of how it starts there with the dynamics between it. So it's this idea of being that type of a conscious parent who's able to explain that with such care and precision of trying to bring in the balance of having empathy, but also having boundaries and having that firm, foundation to be able to see things from that perspective. And that's next level, but I really think so many of these kids are already coming in here with that innate in them. So it's amazing to see how they respond to a lot of these challenges. You don't have to choose to agree, but you have to choose to understand. Yes, to understand, the curious mind, to know more. And that's the key thing about these types of divisive and these types of clashing, is that the key is to ask more questions, to try to understand more, to not shut down. So, yeah, throwing hands with a fifth grader. I'm getting This Is 40 vibes right now. Another movie I'm sure you've seen. Yeah. This is my life too. It's very familiar to me dealing with friends and those types of dynamics and observing all of that through the lens of a parent who's been there, but also having to help them through having their own experiences and building their character. And again, it's a whole bunch of algae. It's covered in algae. This is, if I had my druthers, I wouldn't want my kids to have to learn in a way that's a second of discomfort, or unfairness or anything other than the very best. But yet it's a hard knock school here, right? And that's this path that we're coming through. Ooh, yeah, those kids, they're not coming out the way they used to on many fronts. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger. Yeah, there's something in the water these days. So, yeah. That's the thing. I know, Chloe, and that is a true test. And I don't even have all the answers, and I'm not going to pretend that I haven't also felt that same way. So it's hard. It is hard. It is really a challenging thing. And so I feel that. I totally feel that. I know, I call it the Rolodex. And I just saw something the other day that was like literally like still my mom, like as if it was like when your kids are grown, that you mention somebody and they're like, isn't that the girl that and rolls out the whole list of everything she ever did, right? Because moms don't forget is what the meme was saying. But yeah, the bucket list. So yes, and yet namaste, tolerance and coexistence and all that, right? So yeah, I know there's so many like meandering paths that we can go on here. It's suffice it to say that there's rich opportunities coming in right now for upgrading and expanding. But prior to the upgrade comes the clear out, comes the stuff being drudged up that we're having this opportunity to really work through right now. And that's what I think we're seeing, is just basically highlighting relationships and dynamics of all kinds that are bringing that forward for us. So as we look at how we are growing, hey, Erin, welcome in. We have this amazing Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is the card of wishes fulfilled. And you see here, whether they're on a cruise ship or they're dining by the sea, there's just an abundance. We've talked about this before, the fruit platter. But there is this celebratory nature, this coming together in this very bubbly, celebratory way that people are gathering, and the cups are full. The cups are full to overflowing with abundance, with blessings, with goodness, And so, again, these two together, these are both saying the same thing about the being surrounded by prosperity and abundance and all the goodness, even when sometimes it doesn't come across that way initially, right? That we're moving through some heavier, more dense energies in order to get to this this feast of abundance and blessings that's coming up. And so also there's a sense of like really appreciating and enjoying whatever it is. It doesn't have to be, eat tons of food and drink or cruising or any of the things that are happening at this table. But nonetheless, we see people who are certainly enjoying each other's company and feeling aligned. Did you see the turtle? Yes. And even the backs of these cards are gorgeous. Check that out. But yeah, the turtle, you don't quite see right away. Well, you did, but with those tang fish, they really grab our attention. But it is beautiful because, again, as we talk about Cancer season and the crab and the shell and going within, and of course the turtle has beautiful symbolism about slow and steady wins the race, carrying our home on our back, being at home with ourself wherever we go, and having that sense of safety, security, protection, all of that. It also gives me a famous quote by Brene Brown that says, strong back, soft front, wild heart. And sort of, again, as we think about putting on that armor of protection to go out there and to interact in all the things, having that strong back, which does include being assertive, speaking our truth, having firm boundaries. Soft front, still being open to come in the name of empathy and tolerance and acceptance and a desire to understand, right? To understand. And then finally, wild heart, which I was going to say, seeing these seagulls, as I always say, the laughter, the gulls, there's a childlike wonder. So speaking of our children and the children coming in and teaching us so much about kind of just having that curious mind and that nature to just want to know more and to understand. And when something doesn't make sense, simply asking. Just asking, And okay, this is a funny story, and it kind of does speak to another aspect of this. So, and many of us might understand. My sister, who is quite my opposite, and she was just in town, so she's like the loud, like one who tells it like it is. I've shared before some of the things my sister brought along, a la the loofahs, remember, from the retirement community, and she enlightened me to that. So she walks in today with my mom, who had just been watching her kids for a week, and her shirt says, "Wooden Spoon Survivor." Okay? Now, my sister apparently made it a point to wear that shirt every time she was with my mom in the last week, as a nod to a preferred way of disciplining that went on at a certain time and generation. And so my mom, famously, the wooden spoon broke on my sister's bum, and things. And so think what I was going with this, and because the Hierophant also represents the dissolution of old systems and old paradigms and old ways, and opening up to new understandings, and when we know better, do better, and all those kind of things. And I was saying about the kids coming in and that childlike wonder to just ask, right? So I had shared the story before with my kids about having my mouth washed out with soap. And not just a bar soap, soft soap, pumped, okay? And the story that went with it, which also had to do with bullying. So I was having this like life lesson with my little kids. And my littlest redhead honey badger don't give a boop. She will tell you like it is, right? That's just who she is, unapologetically so. And I love it. I love that she is that way. And she said to her grandmother, she said, what parent would ever do that to their child? What kind of a parent would do that with the soap and just kind of called it out right there in the Chick-fil-A. And, to different generations and different schools of thought and different degrees of, understanding and tolerance and all the things, that was like shocking, to hear that question from her grandchild, or the fact that I had shared that. And I said, oh yeah, hey, it happened, right? So here comes my sister with her wooden spoon survivor shirt on. And it was just like, again, I know I'm making light of something that, is a part of our fabric, but yet has something to do with the parent that I am today and the way that my kids are and all the things, right? Yeah, fly swatters, belts, rolled up thing, all of it, right? And again, sort of glossing over or making light of something like that, but it is to say that, yeah, whatever they reached for, right? The shoe, the whatever. And the idea that and even just where we are in the middle, straddling those two very different places, different generations, we have a foothold in understanding, trying to understand, or at least even having the tolerance to even attempt to understand what that school of thought was, what that belief system was, and how that translates into what we took from that, and then now how we move into the next generation, right? Right. And so there is a time and a place for saying that there were behaviors that maybe, all the things, right? Early cordless phone. That was not lightweight. We're talking like retractable antenna and the whole thing. Oof. So again, this is about healing this energy. These things are coming up to be healed. And so however that comes forward, so whether it is coming forward in a lighter way or a way that we're sort of able to find that connection in our mutual understanding of the places that we're coming from, and then the new challenges that we face in parenting today's children, grandchildren, and the gap of the generations, and being in this place of trying to understand all the things. I mean, this is like big stuff, right? I know you're like, we're just talking about this week, like, but I told you, Poppy always makes me go deep with these cards. Yeah. And then that's true too, Aletha. That was the idea, right? The idea of being scared into the desired behavior, which gave the illusion that it was actually effective, right? Because it got results. So on the surface, but then there behind the scenes, there's a whole untangling of layers of conditioning that came from being potentially scared into submission, whatever, and it's different for everybody, but it's to say that there's fascinating layers of understanding how the psyche and the unroll, like how that all comes forward in those experiences and the behaviors that they evoked in us, and the patterns and the ways that those things could show up now in the future, in relationships and dynamics and things that we don't realize are actually coming up from old ways and old systems. And this is exactly what the Hierophant is also saying. It's not just learning new things and ascending, but also looking at from where we came and what there is underlying in the systems. And yes, they sure have changed. And as soon as that starts coming out of our mouth, how old we sound when we say, when I was your age, but it's true. It's so true, and I look at, the experiences that my kids are having versus me, and so on, and so it goes, right? Ooh, yes. My mother-in-law shows that she does the back of the fork, but I could see where that could go wrong and coming. Yeah, and it's funny because, again, I think there's a level of tolerance that some people are able to hold because of where we came from and how we have a unique perspective of both, but when you get those two together on either side of us, does not compute. Like those young kids, they don't understand that. That's what I'm saying. It was my honey badger was like, what? Who would do that? Their kid. Yes, but there's learning in all of it for sure. So, and also that is not to like yuck anybody else's yum on the ways that anything works for them, and everybody's households and dynamics are different, and just like our communication styles are all different, and there is something to learn from everyone. So I think that's another part of it, is bringing together all of that diversity and all of these unique experiences. And again, allowing those things to fill our cups with blessings, abundance, prosperity, knowledge, understanding, all of the things. So all of this coming up, culminating into this Two of Swords, blades. So this is again putting us at that crossroads, that choice point, that place where, and this card, and we can see here how it's depicted. So more feels about the parental journeys and the struggles and things that can go on, of really feeling the weight of it all. You know, this is beautifully showing, you know, the girls are arguing, the bills are piling up, the dishes in the sink, you know, she clearly looks like she's dressed to go out to work. You know, the weight of responsibility and things are coming up here. And the Two of Swords can have to do with just feeling stuck in this limited, you know, not, you know, it's the non-choice choice, right? She does look like she's saying not today, for sure, like had enough up to here, right? And doesn't catch a break and has this feeling of just being stuck and bound. Because remember, the Two of Swords, much like the Eight of Swords, which is a card that I believe came up last week. I know we've been talking about it because it's the one, yes, it did come up because it was the mom at home in the robe with the dogs howling and the baby crying, right? Right, we talked about that. And so here we have this idea that we feel limited, we feel stuck, we feel like our choices are few, but there is this opportunity for us to see beyond. There's an expansive energy. And so that is why, again, right now in the current energies, we might be deep in these feels. We might really be feeling the weight of all these things, and we've had enough, and not today, and I don't have anything more to give, and all of those things, and rightfully so. There is a perspective where absolutely that is how it's feeling, boots on the ground. We do this, we tune into these things to help us to glean other perspectives, other angles, other ways that we can look at things, because, you know, we could choose to stay here. No choice is a choice, right? The choice to just hunker down into that is a choice. And we know what to expect because expectation equals magnetization. If I start stating things like nothing ever goes right and this always happens and I never get a break, and I start reciting all these things, it's like the opposite of positive affirmations. I'm actually talking myself down into that spiral. And so it's just an awareness of the idea that we have an opportunity to wipe that slate clean and start fresh with a new perspective. And it's one that's open, so not closed off, but open to the new and possibility and looking beyond and questioning and looking to understand what might this be coming up, all algae covered, as this card said. Erin, I know you didn't hear me read that, but this one talked about how there is prosperity in all things, that there's great abundance all around us, even if initially it's covered in algae, right? And it feels that way. And yes, absolutely, it is so easy to get into that funk, and it is darn hard to pull ourselves up out of it. Correct. So true. And so that's why it's really beautiful when you do, and to really acknowledge what a feat that is, and also to recognize others around us and the challenges, the unique challenges everyone is experiencing and going through, and how those things, you know, best advice that we would tell ourselves if we knew what it is that we know now. And then also as we encounter and support others as well in our tolerance or understanding of what they may be going through, and being just witnessing them where they are, if they are in a dark, heavy place, or however it's presenting itself. So lots of food for thought there. I saw a list go up with so far, everyone who had wanted a card pulled so far. Yes, we'll start to get into that now. So if you did not say so yet and you would like a card pull, please feel free. Also, adding, since I have been doing the recaps on my Sharecast on Marco Polo, if you're not over there yet, please check it out. I'll be creating one for July, and we'll roll into July with, again, the recaps and special card pulls and other exclusive things. I will also offer a personal card pull in Marco Polo if you miss the card pulls here, or you're not able to hang and for some reason didn't claim one or whatever. I will do a personal card pull for you over there. So keep your eyes peeled for the link if you haven't gotten over there yet, because I will be reiterating that tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to start with Nicole. Right, Erin? I know, it's going to be July. I can't believe it. So let's see. I feel like, this stuff is like very close because these cards are so big to shuffle. Okay, Nicole, let's see what's coming up for you. Hey, Roxana, how are you? Thank you for stopping in. Thank you, Jen. So appreciated. Yes. I do appreciate the energy exchanges. I love coming here. I love that we get to gather here, and those energy exchanges go a very long way to helping support me to do this and do what I love. And again, there's other ways we can work together more comprehensively if you feel so called. So let's see what is coming up for Nicole. Card for you, dear. Ooh. I wasn't ready for that. Let me try again. Oh, I'm in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. So it's 8 p.m. my time. Yeah. Okay, Nicole. Ooh, Two of Wands rocking out. I love it. So this is Two of Wands, which is that card of contemplating next moves, contemplating where we are going to, kind of like having the world as our oyster, the world in our hand, and sort of looking at where to, planning that journey of setting out and going places. And this is a really cool version. So we have this sort of lots of symbolism here with the roses and the lilies, which can represent death and rebirth, so endings of cycles and beginnings of new cycles, of things coming into wholeness and fruition, and then stepping out into. So there's this energy here of music as well, which Nicole will understand what I'm referring to, of this beat, and sort of you know, finding your rhythm and figuring out where to next and how you are going to step boldly out into the new. So there's definitely this invitation to do so. And, you know, we've got a 2 here and a 2 here. So, and then we've got the aces. So there's a lot of like new beginning energy, right? I know. We've got the band, the whole band here, orchestrating it all. So I love it. And there's a lot of nods to the traditional with the world and the roses and the lilies and the different things that can represent those natural endings of cycles and the new beginnings. And also, you know, bringing forward that energy of passion, because the wands and the roses are all connecting into the sacral chakra, to our passion, to fire, and to, again, like making our beautiful music. So I love it. So this is definitely looking at contemplating next moves, contemplating where you are heading. And there's definitely some birds in the distance, which again, we see that there's new stuff coming in out there. New cycles, new beginnings are coming in on the horizon, and just enjoying the process of getting there. So we're feeling that energy coming in for you for sure. Love it. Okay. Yeah, those drums are pretty cool. You are welcome. All right, let's see. Okay, so 8 Eastern. Okay, you guys are figuring it out. Yeah, we start at 8 Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what time zone you're in, actually. Okay. I think, oh, Savannah is next. There it goes. Okay. Thank you, Jen. Thank you. I didn't see it. You're in the Central Time Zone. Okay. So we're 1 hour apart. I get so confused when the clocks change. I've tried to get better. Jen is so good at like putting out all the times, and it shouldn't be that hard for me to figure out, but I just always put 8 Eastern. Okay, Savannah, let's see what's coming up for you. What do we have coming up here for Savannah? Ooh, we've got all the wands tonight. Fire, fire, fire. So you've got the Knight of Wands. So awesome. So again, Knights are messengers. Knights are like very much like a youthful energy, like a young adult, sort of like ready to head out there and looking for adventure and all the I'm definitely getting the Born to Be Wild vibes with this one, with the motorcycle and just like going for it, hair blowing in the wind. Is there a fox? I didn't even look yet. Oh yes, there is, definitely. Maybe crow. There is a lot going on here. I love this. I'm actually going to look and see what is in the book here, but there's definitely an energy here of pursuing our passion, of putting ourselves out there, of going out there, going for it. And again, it's very much driven by passion, our gifts, what we have to share with the world, and what lights us up, and sort of going out there, getting balls to the wall. So I'll say that, just like, hey, just going for it. Zeal, verve, charm, audacity, active, swift, assured, wild. These are all key words that are coming up here around this energy. So yeah, kind of like the Knight of Swords, also the Knight of Wands can be very like going for it with zest and speed. Like sometimes when we talk about the Pentacles being the slowest moving suit of the tarot, it's very steady, it's very grounded, it's very gradual. This is fire. This is fire energy. And so therefore it's just going for it. And oh, I love that. Yes, Aaron, you're seeing the people kind of shocked at his assertion, right? Shocked at the assertion that he would boldly go out there and do the thing. And so that kind of feels like, yeah, they're shocked. And so that tells me, Savannah, when I was talking about adopting more assertive ways of being, or more like out there, and then the people that are receiving that energy maybe doing a double take because it's out of our character, or it's not like us, and they're being sort of like this, but not necessarily, well, they can feel however they want about it, whether it's like shock or it's like, just surprise or whatever it is, right? But it's bold, right? And it's wild, and it's sort of like going for it. But I just wanted to see whatever else she said here. So this Maverick's flagrant disregard of convention means he's a law unto himself. Monotony, I can never say this word, anonymity are, she's using some big words here. Basically things that he repels, just being monotonous and conforming and all of those types of things. And so not wanting to just quietly conform or play small or just kind of, fly under the radar, for example. So it's when it's in balance, and I do feel it's just like it's a creative energy coming in for you, this opportunity to create what you will and go for it. So there's definitely an energy. I'm so glad this is resonating for you, whatever that is for you, right? And look what he's holding in his hand. He has a wrench, but to me, it's your tools, right? Using your tools, using all of those things to create, tinker away, create something that lights you up and is something that gets you moving, and then move and then do it. Right? That last step of rolling with it and doing it, and how exciting and freeing that is. Not from a perspective of all the times before that we didn't do it, or that we sputtered out, or that we even sometimes, again, that just like the swords, the wands can also be like sort of coming in like really hot and then crashing and burning. Here, it's sort of like taking all of that we know and what we have learned, and using it now, using our tools, so the wrench, the brush, using our tools to create something that's really authentic and resonates for us, no matter what those people, how they're seeing it or receiving it or experiencing it. And again, with that fox, it feels like kind of like a surprise, like sneaky, that you would come out with this thing, like that's kind of what I'm feeling. But let's see, he's fixed his bike, and they're all like, it's too loud, and he's telling them to mind their business. I love it. Yeah, that is so fun. So yeah, definitely getting out there unapologetically so, and going for it. And it's a change. It's definitely a change, because that's what I'm seeing here. I'm not sure if this is a crow, but I was seeing it as a crow, and crows to me symbolize change, but also opening up and speaking freedom, expansion, throat chakra. Awesome. So you've been working on making some big changes. Awesome. I love it. Go for it. Resounding yes. Do it. Born to be wild. That's what I was getting. I love it. That's awesome. Go for it, girl. Vroom, vroom. So cool. All right. Debbie is next. Okay, let's see what is coming up for Debbie. You're welcome, Savannah. I can't wait to see your big changes. Awesome. All right, Debbie, let's see what we have for you. What is coming up for Debbie? We saw this before, the King of Blades. This card has definitely come up for us as we've moved through this deck. And this was that card that had us looking at what is true for you, right? And looking at all of the evidence and everything that was submitted. And again, things not being what they seem always as the evidence is being presented. So really having to use our own discernment and what is true for us, regardless, again, of the peanut gallery or the judge and jury that are there in the background. So the Knight of Blades, or the King of Blades, rather, to go with our Knight of Blades, also speaks to, but this is like the embodiment of that energy of truth speaking, truth telling, being direct, getting to the point, unemotionally, not getting caught up in all of that, but also, you know, speaking to all of this Neptune energy that I was saying, where sometimes things aren't what they seem, or we're trying, it can be challenging to get to the crux of something, as far as, and this could also speak to a ruling or a judgment or something being decided, right? Because we see that courtroom energy here, but it also gave us the glass being half empty or half full, and it being about perspective, and it being about how two people could be looking at the same thing and see something completely different, and just being aware of that. But what I will say is that this energy trumps this energy. So whatever is challenging, a la the energies that we talked about here, and the personalities and the dynamics and any of the situations or circumstances that evoke some of that type of energy, this is like the mature, refined, embodied energy of the blades, you know, which again is going to be air element. So it's going to be speaking to our throat chakra of truth telling, of expressing ourselves, but also the crown chakra. So our mind and logic and understanding, and really like moving things through there, but also knowing that we are coming in to bringing that into balance with the heart and with the feels and all of the other stuff we were saying earlier, with the strong back, the soft front, the wild heart, and all of those things working in concert. But there's this energy here of your truth and standing in your truth. Okay, so a major hurdle catapulted this week. It ruffled some feathers, but it had to be. Okay, yeah. So sometimes the truth, uncomfortable truths, inconvenient truths, you know, things that need to be brought forward, evidence that needs to be reviewed, you know, or however it shows up. And not everybody's going to like it. Not everybody's going to like that ruling, but nonetheless, it's necessary. It's necessary clearing. It's necessary to come forward in order to have that fresh, clean start on the other side. We have to clear away, and we see here with the piles of papers and all of those old energetic attachments to the papers and the bills and all the things that are piled up here that are weighing down and feeling heavy and clouding things and making it difficult to make decisions and proceed freely. Sometimes that stuff needs to come up and out in order for these new beginnings to come through. So the fact that you're already feeling that is awesome. I love it. That is truly embodying and standing in your power. Yay! I'm so excited to hear that. So it was a huge weight lifting off. I love it. Yes, it always catches my eye that they think like how uncomfortable these wigs must be. Huh. You know, like taking those wigs off because it just feels heavy and not authentic or genuine at all. So I'm so glad to hear that that was freeing for you. Awesome. You are welcome. Okay. I love it. It doesn't surprise me at all that some of these energies have already been coming in for our crew. Ahead of the curve. All right, Deidre, let's see what's coming up for you. Let's see what we get for you. Deidre. Ooh, Knight of Cups. Okay, so you're changing it up this week. Instead of the Pentacles, you always seem to get the Knight of Pentacles. You've got the Knight of Cups. And so that is bringing us into the heart chakra, and it's bringing us into that energy of flow, of emotions. And I love all the musical nods tonight too. So what we have here is sort of a situation of like a subway entertainer, and this encounter that's happening here between the two. We see the coins in the cup, and there's this energy here. Hey, Kendra, welcome in. No worries at all. Hey, you're here when you're here. I'm just glad you're here now. Thanks for coming in. I think we have to get a band together, Rob. This must be it. And somebody's definitely got to ride a motorcycle. I love it. I was thinking to tie it into this cups, the other cups energy here. And of course, again, it's wishes coming true. It's abundance. It's cups overflowing. I love that we see the coins coming out of the cup down here. So we're seeing like an energetic cup filling here with the coins. This is a card that can speak to some type of, definitely there's a focus on love, and like there can even be like a chivalrousness, or some type of, there can be like romance or some kind of a dynamic where there's a connection. It doesn't have to be romantic, but the Knight of Cups is very loving and very much in the heart chakra energy. And we see that with the red rose in the lapel. Erin, you are hopping off, no worries. And you'll catch your card pull there. No problem. Thank you for stopping in. Have a great week. Jen said, you need a motorcycle. Okay, I could see that. 2 bikes. I was going to say, there's no sidecar for Jen. Jen would have to have her own bike. So there's definitely like, and I love their matching purple pants and skirt. Like there's a beautiful energy here. Definitely feeling connected into heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye, you know, and really having this connection and flow when it comes to that. So even if it's just almost like feeling maybe like in a good place with those things being in flow and being on point and in tune within yourself, of really being able to tune in and be able to have like this beautiful flow of the music, like sticking with this music reference and playing your own tune and all the things there, but having this connection. So whether you're feeling that connection within aspects of yourself, like the parts that are, you know, creating, but also doing the work aspects of it, since we didn't see the pentacles show up here, no, but we still see the coins coming in, you know, just this aspect of being in harmony and feeling in flow. So there's a softness to that. And so just looking here to see the other people are walking on by. We have the little, I noticed the pigeons too at the bottom, and this little sprite up here too. So there's just a really beautiful energy to this, a soft energy. So just feeling in flow, feeling in tune, feeling harmony and balance. And so really tuning into that. But again, I'm just really feeling this like heart, throat, third eye, like really like getting it this way, seeing it this way, speaking it and feeling it, like all in alignment for you. And so whether you are feeling that, or that's a vibration that you can step into or to embody, to bring forward, that's what it's showing there, because again, knights are messengers. So there's a message of that vibration coming in around you to really get into. Yeah, because they're in the subway, so that too can speak to it just kind of not being seen underneath the surface, but it being something that's coming forward for you. So see how that plays out for you, but I'm definitely feeling that energy there. And yeah, the green, heart chakra, throat chakra, third eye. Even if that's the color palette for something you're creating, I don't know, but I'm definitely feeling those energies there for you. Oh, okay. So you can make it work, Rob, with just the clutch pedal? Okay, no rear brake. I have never been on a motorcycle or ridden one, so I'm not familiar, but I think it's cool. All right, Kat is next. I don't know who all's here, but you guys, if you weren't able to hang in, we will have your replay. Okay, what is coming up here for Kat? Ooh, we've got the Three of Wands. Wands. So here we've got the Three of Wands as the mountain climbers, and they're on this expedition. So this is interesting because similar to the Two of Wands, which was the card with the drums and the globe and all of the action that was happening there, Three of Wands is that card of making a plan before we reach the actual point of, in this case, it's like they're not to the peak yet, but there's this energy of deciding whether we are going to step out into the new and the unknown, or if we stay with what is familiar, or we go for it. So there's this place of making that decision. But it's interesting because this card is bringing in the threes. There's three people, there's three dogs actually, because there's a third one out there, and three birds. So we've got this energy of three coming in, which threes can be all about, oh, you're here. I just started. It's the Three of Wands. So you may not have seen the Two of Wands that I just referred to that already came up in a personal card pull, because both of those cards carry a similar energy of like contemplation before taking action. Wands being the fire, what's moving us, you know, this energy of taking action, of our work in the world, of our passions, you know, all of those types of things. I'm noticing that unlike the traditional, which just features one person with three wands, which sort of represent like that walking stick of heading out into, of that one that's tethered, that's familiar, that I know all about, and just sort of making those decisions. This one actually features three people, three dogs, three birds. So there's this energy of three, which is a number of co-creation. It's a number of collaboration. So I wanted to take a look here to see what was coming up with the way that it's depicted here and what that message may be bringing through for you. So Three of Wands, yeah, exploring, traveling, a quest, having foresight. So they're up high on a mountain, so they're seeing things from an expansive point of view. And because of the threes, we're seeing teamwork, like I said, or collaboration, co-creation, that type of energy. And so, you know, here they're showing that, you know, there could be some challenging terrain on the side of this mountain, you know, perseverance and going for it, but really deciding whether we're sticking with what's known and safe and familiar, or if we're setting out on this expedition and exploring and using our tools, using our unique skills and abilities to work together, teamwork, in order to conquer that mountain. You know, the mountain being whatever we're overcoming or moving through, or the challenges and the things that lie between us and where we wish to be, where we want to go. We were talking about manifesting our own destiny when we started out talking tonight about, you know, our expectations equaling magnetization, what we're calling in. So there's this energy of really contemplating and having this moment to determine where to and how. And in this case, there's a special nod to these threes coming up for you with moving forward, but in a very collaborative way, in a way that's very supportive. And again, bringing together all of our unique tools, abilities, skills, experiences in order to work together in order to climb this mountain or clear this hurdle or come through whatever a particular challenge is. So it's asking here to explore our own furthest horizons and boldly navigate the distant shores of our understanding, bravely going where we've never gone before, either physically or mentally. So this can be energetic, or it can be actually making a move or traveling somewhere or actually taking a step, or something that's more energetic in nature of stretching ourselves and pushing ourselves. We may be asked to pull together as team members or to lead, representing and rallying a group. And we may not be used to directing or shouldering responsibility, but here's our chance to step up and accept the challenge with excitement rather than trepidation. So yeah, like traditionally that three of wands is like, do I stay or do I go now energy of like one wand is safe, secure, familiar, and the other one is like my walking stick to go out there on adventure. So it's sort of like this opportunity to determine where you wish to go, right? Oh, are you just now seeing this guidebook, Jen? Yes, it is just like the cards. Everything's big. I just saw your comment. Yeah, so I'm seeing expansion and upgrade. That is really coming up tonight with this rainbow ray of upgrade and expansion, and going beyond, going the distance, and knowing that you have what it takes to do it, to go for it, whatever it may be. But the choice is yours, and that's always what we come back to is our free will choice. Okay. Let's see how we are doing. Chloe is next. Okay. Let's see what's coming up for you, dear. Card for Chloe. Ooh, I love this moody one. It's the High Priestess. I say moody because she reminds me of 90s. Oh gosh, she's on the tip of my tongue. Who does she look like from the 90s? Oh my God, I just drew a blank. Oh my gosh. If somebody guesses it, I'll know. But it's on the tip of my tongue. It's not Nazi Star. It's Fiona Apple. She reminds me of Fiona Apple. But anyway, the High Priestess, because she is saying, and there's another fox. I love all this fox energy coming up. Saying that, okay, you'll have to catch the replay. Oh, okay. Yeah, take it in divine timing. You don't need to listen to it now. It'll be here for you. If you have any questions when you get to it and you need anything clarified, just let me know. I hope you feel better. Avril Lavigne too. Yes, definitely see Avril Lavigne. So true. Yeah. But I mean moody but this is actually a really cool card because there's a lot of really cool symbolism because the High Priestess is your wise self and in some cases your sassy self. Oh yeah, I definitely see Janis Joplin. Yeah, I love it. So there's just this energy of the High Priestess says, what are you asking me for? You already know. And this has to do with you connecting in with your wise self, with your intuition, with following your intuition, right? There's a fox, and these foxes are really jumping out. There's this energy here of really being stealthy and able to move. And I know that this card tells a story about, so if this represents my wise self and like the highest version of me, why is she like surrounded by trash and graffiti and like sitting on the side of the street? And there's a really beautiful message in this giant guidebook that talks about how that is where the greatest learning can happen, and it kind of reminds me of bringing us in here to these different experiences of street smarts, or learning the hard way, or in the back alley, or in some way in this more of like a shadow side of things, and having that in so many ways being our greatest teacher. There's many ways for us to acquire wisdom, and whether it's done in the formal suit and tie and, jumping through all the hoops and all the things, or if we went a different way, and so there's this energy of all of the wisdom that can be gleaned through experience, and your higher self saying, this, like you really have this wisdom and this awareness that comes with you in all of and of course we have the kitties too. We forgot to mention them amongst the fox and the high priestess. So learning the same lesson 40,000 times before you get sick of landing with the trash or something like that, or landing on your feet with your 9 lives. Learning the same lesson, but there's probably a little something new with each time, because every time we come around again, it's because there's still something there that we had to learn, or that there was an aspect of ourself who was resisting, was being the rebel and didn't quite get on board, right? So there is an element of coming around again and saying, what are you asking me for? Again, you already know, right? But it's all a part of this process of things unraveling in divine timing, but also recognizing that each time that we come around again, we're coming there with new knowledge, wisdom, experiences that we've had from having gone through it before. Yes, there can be a degree of frustration with that, because like I said, there is free will, and there are aspects of us who aren't always on board, or didn't get the memo, or for some reason there was still something that needed to be worked out or learned or moved through. But ultimately, when we look back over all of it, we are able to see some type of divine order, that comes through. Yes, rock bottom puts us into a situation of nothing else to lose, and it's time to do it your own way. The only place to go is up. Yes, for sure. Oh, it doesn't want to open for me to see the rest, but I think that's what you're saying. The only way to go from here is up. But it really does speak to me, that there's like this real world way of learning things the hard way, right? To me, it was speaking to street smarts versus this process, that can be a little bit more traditional, but not making it and again, fill in whatever artists you wish. I love that sort of like the rebel rocker attitude, or going, against the grain, and certainly the fox energies, and however that might speak to you as well, of that cleverness and stealthiness and ability. Oh, she has a really cool tattoo too. She's got a whole bunch of, again, blackbirds, crows on her arm. I love that. Freedom, change, expansion. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. All right. Yeah. So we do have Janice coming in here. I love it. Yeah. So it's tuning into your light, to your wise self, to your high priestess within. I love it. So again, there's great learning and definitely connecting in with those aspects of yourself that are always there. It's just a matter of how connected we are at any given moment. So high priestess energy coming in for you, that you're really stepping into your wise self and your empowered self. I love it. Chastity is next. Okay, let's see what we have coming up for Chastity. What does the fox say? Yeah, that one is a unique sound, blend of sounds. Those of us who know that song. Okay, Chastity, what is coming up for you? Okay, girl, you went with the Tower for tonight. So, things coming in and disrupting, things coming in and shaking stuff up. There is an aspect of sudden shifts, changes, or things coming in that kind of can rock the foundation or what we were moving with. So, you know, like I said, Neptune retrograde and this energy of things not being clear, but then like things coming to the surface or changing and shifting in our beliefs and the way that we see things, or feel things or experiencing things. So you're telling me you already know about this tower. Okay. So we're not surprising you now because apparently you're already in it, right? So, you know, all of the things that the tower can bring forward typically come back around to necessary upheaval, necessary disruption, necessary shakeups, energetic shakeups, our foundations, you know, any of those things can all be a part of tower energy. So there's an aspect here of those things. Now, because you're already experiencing the tower and you're already familiar with that, let's just ask for a clarifying card. What do we need to know about this tower energy? And what's been coming in around you or what you're feeling, experiencing. Just one clarifying card for you with the tower. What do we need to know about that? Ah, look at that. Who needs a big, tall brick building when you could go pitch a tent in the woods and be by yourself? Okay, so you're feeling that. Now, you know what this is telling me? This is reminding me of, for the summer solstice readings, I had shared an excerpt from those readings that had to do with peace within, right? The peace coming from within, and the idea that BYOP, right? Bring your own peace. And that no matter what is falling away around us or what kind of chaos or what, you know, what kind of fresh hell we may be experiencing on the outside, as for me and my hedgehogs and my badgers and all of my critters, we'll be here in this tent with our feet planted on the ground, you know, going within. There is this sense of Four of Swords is sort of setting down everything in order to sort of recalibrate when we can, where we can, right? So going within, reminding us that this frenetic energy is what is happening right now around us, so that when we're really experiencing these things, we can kind of take like this maybe tiniest little bit of comfort in knowing that we're where things are at right now, because it's Cancer season and all of these things in the home and our families and surroundings are being highlighted and triggered and shook up and crabby, you know, like all of that energy of the pinchers and all the things that could have us wanting to just hibernate and hide, you know, like that's actually the energies that are going on right now. Then you bring in all the other layers that we've been talking about, and there's no surprise that there's all this shakeup happening. And then how that's going to show up for each of us is going to be very different. So Four of Blades or Four of Swords is that card of taking a moment when we can, where we can, right? And that's going to look different for everybody. One sword at a time. Swords are our thoughts. Swords are our beliefs. Swords are all the things that we are moving through from a very mental, cerebral, analytical place. And the Four of Swords invites us to put them all down in order to just come back inside first and then just pick up one at a time. And I was looking at this one. I don't know if those are like tent like the tent stakes instead of swords, but it's almost like all that, you know, trying to figure out how to pitch a tent and just being like, all right, I need a break, like just putting all this down and like, I'm going to figure it out. But first I need to reset. First I need to regroup. And when this card did come up, I know Debbie had pointed out some of the symbolism here of patience, having like fierce patience and being able to persist. So there's this going within, resting, coming back into ourself in order to recharge, and then getting back out there one at a time, one sword at a time. So doing what we can where we can, but also resting and being really gentle with ourselves because it's hard. It's a lot. That's a lot. So moving through it one at a time. And we can talk about that more if you want, for sure. But I am feeling like there's just this invitation to breathe, take it one thing at a time. Okay. Good. Yeah, that's the thing that I say. Like, the Tower doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be shocking in a way that's like earth shattering, but it wasn't something that maybe we saw coming or something we weren't expecting that we certainly didn't plan for. And what's that word? Expectations, right? So we're going beyond expectations this month. And so it was unexpected. I wasn't ready for that. That's not what I was planning on, right? And so anytime, even just upsetting the apple cart with our normal routines can be challenging, right? So just some resetting in order. That's this card. It's all the re's. Rest, reconsider, reset, regroup, recalibrate. Yes, when you can, where you can. During nap time, whatever you can do. So this too shall pass, but it's a necessary shakeup in order to resettle things. So trying to take comfort in knowing that we're where we are, right? Beyond expectations. I know, I kind of got smacked with that myself in the last 24 hours. It came back to me too. I ate my own words. So I was getting that too, realizing my expectations had steered me in a direction that left me unhappy and surprised, but yet it came back to that. So I'm with you, sister. Okay, Erin is next, and she's going to catch the replay. No problem. So let's see what we have coming up for Erin. Card for Erin. Ooh, might be one of the first coins of the night. Pentacles. It's the ace. I love it. Oh yeah, it's our construction worker. I remember this one. So you've got Ace of Coins. So this is like our Ace of Wands, the fire. This is bringing the earth energy, which is bringing the money, honey. It's bringing the stability. It's bringing the safety, the security, the grounding energies of the pentacles. And so speaking of, we just looked at that Tower energy with the bricks falling, because those represent things in the foundation that can no longer stand, that need to be released. Here we see a very, very clear laying of the bricks, you know, in a very strong, stable way of building something lasting. So the Ace of Coins is like a new opportunity or something coming in that's really helping to build some stability and some abundance. And of course, with all of these prosperity cards coming in about there being a lot of prosperity, surrounded in those wishes coming true with the Nine of Cups. This is new opportunities and energy for stable foundations. And again, we see there's a hard hat here. So it's kind of speaking back to what we've been talking about all night with that armor, you know, the strong back, the soft front, the wild heart, the hard hat on our head, protecting, you know, and this can speak to some of those harsher energies, but also maybe having that tougher exterior as well, so that maybe we don't let everything get in our head. We don't let everything mess with us, right? And kind of rebuilding in a new stable way that's reinforced, so that those things don't have that kind of hold or effect over us. So it's a new energy coming in that's being built on the back of having had experienced its opposite, having gone through some of that heavier energy that you were saying can be very difficult when you're in a low place or a heavy place, which was speaking to this energy, right? From having known this, from having experienced this on every level, mind, body, spirit. This is like the new tough exterior that we have developed from having experienced these things, that now we rebuild in a new, sturdy, stable way. And that's what the Pentacles bring in for us. But it's a gradual energy, right? It's something that gets built over time with experience and with learning as we go. So there's an energy here of those types of new beginnings coming in here for you, and doing it again. There's just definitely like protection and boundaries in place and safety measures and things that have you feeling feeling, knowing that you've armed yourself well, protected yourself so that you can go ahead and build and expand upon these things that you are building in your life and creating, and that ultimately those things are going to reap those types of abundant rewards for you, is what we're seeing there with this Ace of Coins. So there we have it. I love it. Okay. See who is coming up next. Roxana. Okay. Let's see what we have coming up for you. Card for Roxana. Yeah, I wonder why that is. As soon as I saw it pop up, I said it. So if there was a lag, that's weird. Well, I don't know. We've been having trouble. We have Verizon. Oh, really? It literally, like, I saw that move. Like, sometimes I miss it, but I literally was like waiting for it to come in. So I don't know. We actually, my husband's planning on calling Verizon because this whole weekend we've had issues with the internet going out, and we pay too darn much for the disruption in service. We had multiple days this weekend. So I think Verizon in our area has been having issues. So it could be on my end. I don't know. It looks normal to me, so I can't tell like when it came up. Yeah, I don't know if it's a Verizon thing, but like unacceptable because it just costs too damn much. All right. I love this card. You got the Wheel of Fortune. Look how amazing. And I guess you're seeing this deck for the first time, Roxana, but we've been working with this deck this month, and it's amazing, as you're seeing tonight. But look at this card. So the Wheel of Fortune. The wheel turns and we move into a new season. We move into, and we just did that. We've just had the solstice. We've moved into the summer. We also, at the end of this week, we're coming into the end of a moon cycle, as we'll have the full moon next week. I think it's July 3rd. Coming up. Isn't it gorgeous? And so, and I was going to say, this is one that has the poppies. So the creator of this deck, her name was Poppy Palin, and the poppies were coming in all month, and the poppies are just such a beautiful symbol here we see of this transformation and change with the butterflies as well. But I love this, like, everybody seems pretty excited about it. There's this positive momentum rolling, right? Rolling forward. And traditionally, the Wheel of Fortune is a positive trajectory. The wheel turns and we move into a new stage or phase or season of life or an experience. And of course, it's card 10 of the major arcana, and 10s are representative of endings of cycles, of things coming full circle. Isn't it beautiful? I know. That's why I'm moving so slow tonight, because when I see these cards, I just get so much that you could just go as deep as you want, you know, like, and then enter in this book, and she has beautiful stories for every card and the characters and what you see happening here that you could really, and of course, I'm noting the cars, and I'm noting him looking like he is a mechanic, and knowing that we are in the year of the Chariot. This is a 7-year, and so there's all the car references coming up about where we are moving to and getting on track and all of the things. This one is called On a Roll, and it talks about destiny, luck, change, improve, fate, reward, pivotal, forward movement, and turning point. So it really is speaking to a change, but it's definitely speaking to in luck or a destined shift or a fated shift or something that's, you know, ready to move into the next gear. And it could be something that you've really been preparing for or readying yourself for, readying your vehicle for. So of course that can have to do with actual automobiles, with our physical vehicle that carries our spirit around. It can have to do with just an energetic structure in our life. But there's beautiful change and transformation. And again, it just looks like it's happy, it's exciting, there's movement, and it's definitely feeling like it's coming in through this season. You know, the wheel has turned. It's the summer now. We're about to finish out this moon cycle. And on the other side, this month especially, it feels like there's a lot of movement and changes and things coming up for you in a really beautiful and transformative way. So maybe coming into completion on some cases, and then new beginnings on the other side. So really, really beautiful. I love it. Yeah. This is a card that speaks to all 4 elements, the fixed signs of Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Leo, and it speaks to Jupiter energy as well. And Jupiter, of course, big and expansive and amplifying everything in its path. So big, big stuff. Beautiful. Okay, Kendra is next. Let's see what is coming up for you. Card for Kendra. Oh, wow. Definitely. New chapter for you, going through a 5-year divorce and being so relieved that it's over. Talk about turning the wheel. Awesome. New beginning, transformation. I love that. And freedom and expansion. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's big stuff too. Okay. Sorry if it took a while for that to come up. I know. It's crazy. I don't know. Everything's moving slowly, but oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, freedom for sure. And 5, the number of change, of expansion and freedom. Perfect. All right. What's coming up here for you, Kendra? I know you've been working hard. My back hurts. I'm like hunched over. I'm like, ugh. Kendra's been working so hard, mama. The Empress. Okay. Love this card. She is so beautiful. This is the energy of the mother and the earth mother, and being connected with earth and mothering, very divine feminine energy, and just being such an open, soft, talk about soft front, you know, all the kitties coming in here and all the love. But it really does have to do with this beautiful garden that you are tending to now, you know, that you have planted and what you're creating. They might be actually, they're definitely pointing towards that soft landing place. Some of us having more of a soft place to land than others because of those kids. Am I right? No. See, we can start to get this way at the end. Yes. Yeah, it's so funny. This is another topic that came up with my sister today, because the kids and their, yes, grabbiness, and we were recalling it's hitting home for me. Definitely from that motherly place. But there's so much love and laughter and happiness, and but what I was feeling is about this garden that you are creating around you, literally, you know, the new that you're bringing in, and what you're tending to, and what you're creating, and how you are fostering that, and all of the work that takes, but also staying focused with the eye on the prize. Yeah, that's what I was getting at too, girl. They didn't even say goodbye. That's another line from This Is 40, I think. It's one of those movies. She's like, they just left. They didn't even say goodbye. They are gone. Yes. They're not pillows anymore. They're just empty shells of what they once were. I know. But oh, they're so cute, right? They're worth it. I know. But yeah, it's that motherly energy, and just being that beautiful divine Empress, but there's an energy of, they didn't say goodbye. I know. Nurture, nature, grow, mother, abundance, passion, harmony, stability, fertility, care, and create. But fertility meaning We are pregnant with possibilities. We are birthing new things. We are gestating new things. So there's just, oh, Venus. So Venus, of course, is highlighted here, and Libra energy. So Venus, of course, going into retrograde. So this being a really beautiful time. Like I said, over on my Sharecast, I recorded a little Self-Care Sunday message about ways to work with this Venus retrograde energy that's coming up. It's in the pre-shadow now, but it's highlighting how we nurture ourselves or have an opportunity to nurture ourselves, and self-care and going within and really hunkering down. Yes, I know you're gestating new things, but yeah, I got you. I know, that's why I said it, because I mean, it's here in fairness, but I get it. It doesn't mean the same thing for everybody. But yeah, so I am feeling that highlight for you about just that you're a beautiful mama, and you're making such, bringing in all of that around you and creating that soft landing place for your kids, whatever that looks like, and whatever process it comes to be through, that it's just a really beautiful process is what I'm feeling. The name of this is Lots of Love. Lots of love. I love that. So beautiful energy. And we may not have it all together, but together we have it all, right? It's a crazy life, but it's my life, and all the things and all the fun. There's so much going on in the background of this card too. So it's beautiful. I love it. And so it's really bringing in enjoying life to the fullest, the bounty of it all, and arms wide open, heart wide open, really beautiful Empress energy. So I love that for you. Earth energy, really being down to earth, connected with the earth as well. So I'm feeling all of that for you. And I will say, as Poppy has here, the Empress suggests that we can change lives with our open-armed altruism or cause damage by being a martyr or manipulator. So it's like we choose which one we're going to tune into, right? We don't feed the weeds. We don't get in with all that mess. As for me and my garden, we're focusing on the latter, right? What we're saying, or the former, I should say, the first option, not the martyrdom and the manipulation, but being open-hearted, open-armed, and fostering and nurturing love. So I love that for you. Beautiful. Yes, we may not be financially rich, but we're rich with love. That's right. Absolutely. There's more to it than that for sure. Okay. We've got Jen and Rob, right? I think that's what you said. Yes. Okay. You said Rob and yourself. So I'll do Robert first. Let's see what's coming up for you, sir. What do we have coming up here for you, Rob? Okay, 8 of Cups. This is a card of moving on. Check all that out. So this is, wow, what a card. I mean, the traditional 8 of Cups is like, there are things that are no longer serving, that aren't working. That ship has sailed, and I am walking away from those cups, and there's new beginning energy. Now here we're seeing like this backlog of the dirty dishes, and the sink is overflowing. So it's just like totally waterlogged with like all of the things that aren't working anymore, that I am turning my back on and starting new. I'm starting out new, and the window is cracked open, and we see a pathway in front of him. So it's like just taking your man bun and heading on out of there, right? But there's this, and I see the full moon. Yeah, to start new. It's all got to go. We're clearing the board, right? And dirty dishes and all, because those things are no longer serving. But I'm going to take a look and see what we have in here. That full moon sticks out to me. So we've got the full moon coming up next week. And really tuning into what comes up there for you to release, to let go, to shed, to forgive. That what is coming with you and what is not. What we are letting sink. So the Eight of Cups is called turning the tide. Seek, search, leave, change, escape, move on, transition, quest, withdraw, weary, and let down. Right? The man bun, the wigs earlier. I know. It's time for you to get a haircut. There you go. You're reading the cards and the tea leaves say it's time for a haircut. Turning the tide. So the Eight of Cups offers an opportunity to relinquish the patterns and practices that keep us safe but stagnating. It assures us that even when we are at our most drained and most disheartened, we can still find the inner resolve to break away. And it says that they remind us here that nothing is impossible. Defeat isn't inevitable. And even the knottiest entanglements can be unpicked if we begin with a single strand. It's all about moving on, either in a physical sense from a job or relationship, or progressing in a deeper sense as we change our attitudes and habits. The things that no longer serve us and may even damage us have to be let go now. We can't hang on because they'll never work for us. We may be concerned about abandoning something or someone, but if we cling on for their sake, we'll end up depleted and dispirited ourselves. It may seem a sacrifice or a risk, but ultimately we're giving up a cage in favor of freedom. It may be less materially secure, but liberty is beyond price. Ooh, goosebumps. Okay, so it may seem a sacrifice or a risk, but ultimately we're giving up a cage in favor of freedom. It may be less materially secure, but liberty is beyond price. If we allow the transformative process to unfold without panicking, we'll be rewarded with a more stimulating, satisfying way of life. It may not be all plain sailing, and we may feel all at sea for a while, but at least we're on a voyage of discovery, not clinging to a lonely, dismal rock. Sooner or later, we'll spy land again, and it'll be more fertile, sustaining place where we're free to explore the possibilities. No matter how weary we feel today, we should feel encouraged to act, because here's the impetus to have the life we've dreamed of. Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps. We can and will make the fantasies of the 7 into reality. I know, I'm like, it probably doesn't come. I have goosebumps right now. So let me see what you're saying. Okay. Yes. In limbo again, waiting for that call on yet another test. It's beyond, like, I don't even know what to say at this point about it. Wow. And you know what she just said there. You know exactly what she said. She just said the 7 of Cups. So what she just said was, we can and will make the fantasies of the 7 of Cups into reality. So she's following through the trajectory of before the 8 is the 7. And you know that the 7 of Cups is the one that we've been talking about, the one that you just were saying how resonant it has been, because that capped off last week. And then I shared it on Friday in 3 different versions because it just keeps coming up, right? You hear what she's saying? Okay, sorry. Verizon's not the only one who's slow tonight. I'm like breaking it down. But yeah. So you follow that trajectory of it goes from that 7 of Cups to having to make that decision without all the knowledge, without getting to know all the answers or the outcome or any assuredness at all. And yet we can make this happen, is what that's saying. Oh my God. I don't want to get all like, questioning as if you guys haven't already given them hell, but like, how do you expedite? How do you bypass like the person who's pushing the paperwork and talk to somebody, anybody of any form of authority? Or is there any type of like employee advocacy group out there, like somebody who advocates like the way that we can for our children when we need help to navigate the broken system for them? Like, is there somebody out there other than an attorney, of course, maybe that's the answer there, is somebody that can just get in there and enough is enough? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's insulting, like beyond. Yeah, like, did they even understand what a vascular doctor is? Because clearly not. That's pulmonary, pal. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, so you guys have an appointment this week, escalating things, taking it to the next level, not messing around, bringing in the big guns. Yeah, I mean, enough is enough. It's just, and you know, we know the name of the game. The hope is that they twist us up into such a ball that we give up. You just give up, and you walk away with nothing. And so, you know, the squeaky wheel is the one to get the grease, right? So we have to, and it's just a tenacity of like who can outlast, right? But I think they messed with the wrong power couple, if you ask me. So I'm glad to hear that you guys have an appointment this week. And that was just a very hopeful message because, yeah, you are walking on, moving on, right? But not without all of this meaning behind, you know, what is propelling you forward. And yeah, you can outlast for show. This is not your first rodeo. Yeah. Never give up, heart, right? It's like, what is this coming up for me from under the depths of the sea, covered in algae and everything else funky? And like, this is this road that's paved in all of this mess to freedom from the cage, right? To liberty, to true liberty that you earned, literally blood, sweat, tears, and everything in between to get there. And we'll have the t-shirt to go with it. I mean, the whole kitchen sink, right? The whole kitchen sink. So, you know, the worst is the fact that you're in pain, you know, and that it's debilitating for you, not to mention dispiriting. You know, that word was used, and that's exactly what it is. It's dispiriting. 8 months. I mean, my God, 8 of Cups, 8 months. Well, I hope that this is indicative, this full moon in the distance out the window and the owl, the wisdom, that you guys are on this track. And, you know, fool me once, fool me twice, right? We're not messing around anymore. So I'm really glad to hear that you guys have an appointment this week to get some clarity and to come in there and right this ship. You know, it's just, I'm truly just sorry. There's nothing to gloss over there. It's inspiring to see you guys navigate it the way that you have and are, you know, and hopeful to say not to give up and not to just allow yourself to just crumble and give away, you know, anything. So I just feel like it's character building for sure. You know, we can talk about the silver lining and all that afterwards. When the ship is on those smooth waters and we're cheersing and partying away with our fruit platters about the idea of having gotten there, right? We'll have like a big tribal cruise up and onward and always forward. Yes. Continue to persevere for sure. Turning the tide. So that is inspiring, and I really wish you guys well this week with your meeting, and hopefully get some hope and clarity and direction forward for real, because it's just ridiculous, like beyond. But whew, let's do a little upgrade and expansion on that. I think I just sprayed myself in the eye. Figures. Oh, right? All right, Jen, let's see what's coming up for you, girl, with your amazing drop today. That was so worth the wait, but better not even blink. That stuff was gone. Gone, baby, gone. Yeah, well, it's not on my glasses, but it was like here. So I'm going to pull your card now. I feel like Dumb and Dumber, Rob. Oh, man. All right. Let's see what is coming up for you, lady. Jennifer. Ooh, what's this one? Oh, the Page of Wands. Fun. I'm getting Chase vibes right away. The Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands. So we had the Knight tonight. We had the Knight. We had a King. Here we have the Page of Wands. So that is that very youthful energy. Definitely so curious and adventurous and out there. This is giving me like Lost Boys and like those movies from like all these boys out there like in the woods, and this is really cool actually. There's like a salamander maybe. It's jumping over the brook. Got the light, we've got the wands, the fire energy. I don't know if they're playing like a game or what, but that's pretty cool. I want to see what she says about this. Definitely bringing in the fire. Carrying the torch. Enthusiasm, confidence, daring, positivity, passion, discovery, excitement, innovation, and risk. Missing the top hat. That's such a cool card though. Oh, there's Fern. Yeah, I love it. So Carrying the Torch is the name, and it's talking about all pages are messengers. So we've been talking about the pages and the knights as messengers, and this one has the encouraging news that we can move mountains if we focus and direct our will. This independent, spontaneous page can be a young or a young at heart person in our lives, or can represent the creative spark that fires us up. The impetus here is for us to use our talents in an innovative, imaginative, or inventive way. This page wants us to engage enthusiastically, holding nothing back, and reaching our full unfettered potential. He reminds us to outshine ourselves, never giving less than our brilliant all, and boldly blaze a trail over any obstacles. He's gung-ho, full of daring do, and won't accept lame excuses for refusing a challenge. His motto is, go for it. What he wants, he gets, not because he's greedy, but because he wants the best for everyone, including himself, and doesn't see why we shouldn't have it. He's unburdened by adult responsibilities, but has an innate sense of integrity, so it is unlikely to behave outrageously. His ethics mean he's more a have-a-go hero in a boy's adventure story than a delinquent. He can be a daredevil, but unlike the reckless Knight of Wands, wouldn't condone riotous or nonchalance. He uses his wild power altruistically and beneficially. His freshness defeats world weariness, while his infectious good humor can overcome pessimism or lethargy. Here's an individual who is at ease in their own skin and would love everybody to be as happy as he. Can we be? So I love it. Yeah, there's all this fire energy and just this excitement and passion for life and adventure and creativity and going for it and all of it. And it's very playful and youthful or young at heart and shining our light and just jumping over those hurdles like nothing. So there's definitely a very like fired up, very passionate energy here. And I love the nod though to the kiddos, but I feel this as you for sure. And there's a reason why the kids carry that energy, because as someone once told me, goats don't make sheep, right? So they come from a line of fiery energy and going for it. And that's awesome. I love it. So really feeling this breaking out and carrying that torch and being on a tear, you know, and really going for whatever it is and stretching, going the distance for it. So whether it's that meeting this week or the things that you're creating and inventing and co-creating in your life, all of it. So go for it, carry that torch and tear it up, right? Give them hell. I love it. All right. So, yeah, I would love to hear how things go for you guys this week. Good luck with everything, for sure. So, and then full moon, release, let go, shed, and begin for new. So reset after, like, get all the clarity and everything, and then resetting to get out there and start fresh for sure. Awesome. All right, guys. So did we cover, I think we got everybody, and thank you for sticking in. Sorry it was a little slow. Sorry I'm a little slow. I got to go make sure that everything's ready for camp tomorrow. New schedules again, but that's all right. It's all good. All right, guys, thank you. You're welcome. And I will get this all together tomorrow. I'll do recaps over on the Sharecast. And again, anybody who missed a card pull, if you're catching the replay, feel free to pop in over there and I will happily pull one for you. All right, guys, have a great night and an awesome week. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.